We're back with the last match of the day. It is going to be blitzchung versus DawN. DawN on the mage and blitzchung on this mid-range hunt. He's gone back.
Back to his roots.
He had some good times with his warrior. You know, just went and visited for a while, but he's gone home, got comfortable back with his hunter. So let's take a look at the deck. So we're going to start off with DawN's mage, and looking like, to me, just another just solid mage deck. This is just becoming core. I think until the expansion comes out a little bit later, I think this is just roughly going to continue to be what we see at the top.
Yeah, super standard stuff when compared to Alutemi's one. It's like a Sea Giant for a Snip Snap. There's like a couple of exchanges that have gone in there, but like you said, overall, very, very standard stuff. And up against the Hunter, I think you are generally hoping for slightly more defensive stuff. When compared to some of the other matchups where you're looking to go a bit slower, because I believe when we saw this matchup last week between Patra and Tyler, unless I'm very much mistaken, Patra kind of just dunked on Tyler by hitting Animal Companion on curve like every game. Like it was a slaughter. Yeah, it was pretty rough. And looking at this blitzchung Beast Hunter, the Headhunter's Hatchet is really the card that sticks out to me. But it is useful in this matchup at stopping Sorcerer's Apprentice being played out just on its own to, you know, even just get to some of these minions, make them a little bit squishier, or in some worlds just push more damage, because I've found time and time again Hunter puts itself in its best position in this matchup when it's spent the early game being aggressive and whittling down the health of the mage. So then late game, as we've seen, unless you are certain people summoning certain minions, mage can't really heal that well. So then you put the mage on this very awkward clock in that they have to not only build a board, defend, and stop you killing them, but they have to do it very quickly because your hero powers just kill them after not long. Yes, and I think that's one of the strongest assets of Hunter, is that ability to go over the top of the taunts, which Mage is obviously so potent at summoning with the Grave Horrors. But I think more so than that, it's that Mage really struggles against minions with some kind of active effect that have to be removed, be it through the Tundra Rhino, or be it through the Scavenging Hyena. There are many of those cards in Hunter, which is, I think, the biggest weakness, because, for example, as soon as the Scavenging Hyena gets out of the 2 health range, it can't be hit with double Ray of Frost anymore. And at that point, it's nigh on impossible for the mage to deal with. You have to go on the aggressive in response. And Hunter has the removal to answer your big minions. Basically, I'm leading up to the opinion that Hunter is in a pretty good spot in this matchup.
It is. Let's see how we go in game number 1, though. DawN on the top on the mage, blitzchung on the bottom on the Hunter. And DawN, this is a, sorry, we should probably mention this. We've talked a lot about Division A. This is a Division B match.
This is Division B.
As we've not talked a lot about someone who's 8-4, which is
second place at the moment.
Yes, that's second. Right?
Yes, I was just looking up. Shaxi is at 10 wins, 100% guaranteed playoffs. I think looking at how it works, DawN is, like, I haven't figured out the tiebreaker 2. It's possible if Tyler and Bloodtrail both go 2-0 that DawN can drop down on tiebreakers. Having said that, however, I think even then it's unlikely, because I haven't looked if Tyler and Bloodtrail are playing against each other.
They are not.
Right, so either way, I think it's maybe in a very fringe scenario possible that DawN could not qualify. It's very, very likely.
Bloodtrail plays DawN, though, which I don't know if that changes things, which it probably does, right? If Bloodtrail plays DawN?
Well, no, because then DawN has to lose and Bloodtrail would have to win, right? So that doesn't affect.
Oh, sure. Oh, the other match. Sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, enough of that talk that doesn't matter at this second in time. Most importantly, blitzchung, regardless of potential outcomes, needs to win, I imagine, at a 5-7 record.
Yeah, I mean, I've almost forgotten what it was like casting a blitzchung game. We've been talking for 30 seconds and it's turn 4 already. Definitely one of the speedier players in Asia Pacific, both in his play style and also in his deck choices. Loves this Hunter deck and is, I would say, one of the most proficient old-school aggro players in Hearthstone, full stop.
And without getting too silly about, you know, this is honestly just me not trying to make a pun, I promise, but blitzchung definitely one of the special class specialists we have in GM. I think Flurry on Rogue, blitzchung on Hunter are 2 very standout, clear specialists, and they would even say that themselves. And also just this opening hand. Look at this is how you play it, right? Obviously blitzchung's had a good hand, but you just pile on the damage early, because what does DawN plays a giant? Great.
Well, in this instance, DawN plays evocation, giant,
okay, well,
this Conjurer's Calling.
I didn't see the second evocation, which hurts my soul. But yeah, this is a strong play, but The thing is, if this is 2 giants, then it's still a
Yes.
problem for DawN. That's the that's the weird thing, right? Let's see what happens. Oh, okay.
The expected result, one might say.
Ooh.
That is juicy, to say the least.
So we can still push 2 this turn.
Would he even?
Oh, wait.
Is that worth it to go for it though? We could also see marked shot links, which means that 6 could be pushed on this turn, right? Because it could be marked shot links, and then the scale hide and the links trade into the grave flora.
I was wondering, is
The rest fails.
Dire Frenzy on a scale hide ever better?
What does that allow you to do? You can then go
You can
links, and
links,
double trade.
Double trade. So you can links, trade in the Spring Paw. So that's 5, 6, 7, and trade in the 1/1.
Yeah.
Push for 4 to face.
Okay.
But then you have 2 buffed minions that are unique that you can then Master's Call into
That's-
to then try and carry on with some more
That's a
pressure.
fair point.
Blitzchung's gone a bit of a different way, and this is also clever because he has drawn a Spring Paw and then Dire Frenzied it. It's likely he draws another Spring Paw,
Very, very
and
likely.
it's also more likely that he gets a buffed one, which makes these trades a little bit nicer.
These trades don't actually work out very well for him.
I mean, he gets to
Whereas-
push 5.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
that's still
if-
okay.
If his game plan was push as much damage as possible, he could have pushed 6 with an alternate line of play, which then you need to ask the question, is drawing 2 extra cards off of Animal Companion, sorry, off of the Master's Call more important than the 1 extra damage? Probably.
Yeah, I would say so
probably.
overall. Because you know they're unique as well, it means
Yeah.
you know roughly what you're getting to. Another taunt is huge for DawN. Like you said, the general outcome, but if that would have been a giant again, even with a low board, it's just more damage chipping away.
I still can't believe that Alutemu won so fast. I can't. We're not allowed to have
He's
moved
done
on
that-
from this at this
He's
point.
done that multiple times.
That was unbelievable.
He's done it multiple times.
I think I'm still kind of in shock from how he won so
I think
fast.
the week before Vegas, I'm sure it was the week before
Yeah.
Vegas. Honestly, it was like the 2 sickest mage games. Like the mage game, the
Yeah.
perfect mage game. Bang 1-0, bang 2-0, done. It's crazy. I don't
It
know, he
is
keeps
crazy
doing
stuff.
it. He might just be good. Who knows?
He may be. Blitzchung is also pretty good at finding the deadly shot, hitting the deadly shot with that newly updated art, as you may have seen. Onto the taunt, allows him to push that little bit of extra damage face. He's getting real close to lethal.
My only worry with that art change specifically is that it does not prove that it's a deadly shot. For
It's
all I
just a
knew, a
shot.
stormtrooper fired that, and that's not killing anyone. So now it's just shot. It's like shot in the dark. Like, you know.
I mean, it is a shot in the dark most of the time with deadly shot.
There you go. Can we get a card name changes as well as art, please?
Yeah, we want more accurate descriptions on all our cards. It's a random shot in the dark, please.
What is the thing? Is it realistic film trailers or something?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
honest film trailers. Just honest card names. Shot in the dark. Well,
Oh, okay. This is a game now.
I mean, isn't he guaranteed to win?
He goes,
Can you just hero power this turn? Put into 7. And then Shimmerfly kill command hero power next turn? It needs exactly like a counter spell.
yes.
So you just don't play a minion to play around Ziliax.
Yes.
It's just
Yes.
unless there's exactly counter spell generated somehow. It's just game.
Or Conjurer's Calling into a minion that heals you on the turn without having to attack. I'm not
Does that even exist? Oh yes, Lightwell on a 2-drop.
Yes.
Oh,
that
no,
heals
no,
you at
no,
the
because
start
it's
of
starting
turn.
next turn.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just,
Benevolent Jin has rotated out. I mean, there must be something. There's always something on
I think
Conjurer's
the
Calling.
kids would say dead af.
Of creation.
Yes.
And this is it's exactly what I was
He
talking
knows what's
about.
coming.
Yeah, it was exactly what I was talking about in that you do so much damage early game if you can be aggressive that there's just nothing DawN can do. It's not like that's just the way the matchup works a lot of the time.
It's very interesting. I mean, okay, this is not me even trying to say that Blitzchung made a misplay at all. It's just interesting to highlight that the 2 cards he drew off of of the Master's Call in Shimmerfly and Thunder Rhino, neither of which were played, and his decision to play that way cost him a damage. It didn't end up mattering.
It did, but it also thinned his deck to get to kill command quicker.
Okay, so it didn't. It was probably better.
You know,
yeah.
And obviously it's such a silly thing to say as blitzchung just hit the game we knew he was going to win anyway. But it's such. I understand all the people like thin in deck. I know you talk about that too much, but if you have less cards in your deck, there's higher chance of you drawing any singular other card in the deck, which means, and especially when you thin the beasts out, and a lot of the beasts are damage, and a lot of the spells are removal. So if you thin beasts out, you are more likely to draw removal that's in your deck. That's just how it works. So yeah, it's a tough one to call which one was, I would say, like correct in a perfect mathematical world. Yeah. But still, blitzchung just got that game done very convincingly and very quickly. But now the players have the opportunity to change deck, or at least change their slight style if they want to on their secondary or tertiary. We're going to go to a break while they decide. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
안녕하세요. 제 이름은 심다솔입니다. 하스스톤 아이디는 리바이어스라는 아이디를 쓰고 있고 트위치에서는 다솔링이라는 아이디로 방송하고 있습니다. 그랜드마스터는 그냥 저한테 다시 한번 온 기회라고 생각을 해요. 아까도 말했다시피 월드 챔피언십을 좀 노렸다가 약간 아쉽게 못 가게 되었는데 이제 다시 한번 힘을 내서 그 높은 곳을 노릴 수 있는 약간 다시 한번 온 기회라고 생각합니다. 일단은 그래도 주기적인 리그가 생긴 거잖아요. 게임 리그가. 그래서 약간 점점 이게 하스스톤이 그러니까 발전해 나간다라는 느낌이 들어서 이제 좀 더 이제 커가는 도약부라 해야 되나? 그런 게 될 것 같아요. 작년 같은 경우는 제가 약간 생각보다 좀 좋은 활약을 해서 좋은 기억이 많죠. 근데 그 중에서도 가장 기억에 남는 거는 역시 그 플레이오프 때 이기고 그 포 챔피언십 확정 지었을 때가 가장 기억에 남습니다. 글쎄, 저한테 재밌는 점? 약간 저는 재미랑은 좀 거리가 먼 사람이라서 그냥 재밌는 점은 잘 모르겠고 그냥 하스를 열심히 한다? 굉장히 많이 열심히 한다? 정도. 타일러한테 한마디 하고 한다면은 그러니까 제가 처음에 그 타일러를 그 포 챔피언십 때 약간 사심이라 해야 되나? 이제 둘 중 하나가 올라가면 나머지 하나가 라스트 컬로 간다는 그런 이제 약간 허망한 꿈 같은 거를 가지고 있었는데 이제 계속 응원하다 보니까 이 친구가 좀 잘 됐으면 좋겠는 거예요. 근데 이번에 약간 그 타일러 입장에서는 아쉽게 끝났잖아요. 그래서 좀 이제 그랜드 마스터 때는 좀 더 좋은 결과 있었으면 좋겠고 이 말을 제가 영어 공부를 해서 직접 말하고 싶네요.
We are back and ready to go to continue this series, blitzchung versus DawN. And in case you took a slightly longer break after the Halutemu match, we're already 1-0 in, you missed it. You took too long, you needed to come back quicker. Because blitzchung blitzed through game one very quickly.
And Alutemu chunged his way through game one.
That just doesn't make any sense. At least mine was bad, but made sense. Let's take a look at the list as DawN has chosen to mix it up a little bit and gone to his tertiary deck. And this is more of a sideboard I can get behind based on what we've seen a little bit earlier today. In the, you add Snip Snap, Halftime Scavenger, and Rabble Bouncers against specifically Hunter, as Hunter generally wants to go a little bit wide.
Yeah.
This looks like it could have a much better chance versus blitzchung's Hunter, who's chosen to stay on his primary deck, by the way. But I actually like this sideboard overall. I think it's actually quite solid for specifically this matchup.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. The Rabble Bouncers, I'm still just so unsure on them because they obviously have a place in Mage. They can be very powerful in getting that big reduction after you freeze the board or stodge it up with mirror images. But so much of the time, they just don't feel that strong. Even against Hunter, which a lot of the time when they make their minions, their small tokens, they're trading them in. They all have Russian charge.
Yeah, I feel for me, in the matchup, it stops what just happened happening as often.
That's fair.
Because if they go slightly wide, then you can still play us on turn 4.
Yes.
And that's just okay. It's better than nothing, obviously. But you just play on turn 4. Even if they deadly shot it, well, it means they're probably not developing more minions behind that, because they'll also be on 4, potentially 5 mana depending.
Yeah.
And so they're probably not doing much else. And also, if they deadly shot that, it means, like, say, your Giant Conjurer's turn feels safer if you get taunts from there. So, although not the best card in the world in most matchups, I 100% agree, I feel like against Hunter, it just stops you being steamrolled as often, which, at least if you're DawN right now, you really don't want to be steamrolled twice in one series.
And, you know, like I said, it has its spot. I played with it for quite a long time in Mage, back when it was standard. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how it plays out for DawN in this series.
The problem is, it's so respective of what your opponent does. Like, even when your opponent doesn't particularly play around it, it can be bad. Because Sea Giant, you can make more minions and make it cheaper. Like, you know, imagine if Sea Giant was only your opponent's minions. The card would never be played.
Yes.
Never. So that's the problem. Like, your opponent can stop it happening, even by accident sometimes.
Tough start here for blitzchung, where obviously Master's Call is pretty much the cornerstone. Wow.
Did he just
of
throw
any
2?
Hunter deck. He just threw away both of them to look for the meat.
blitzchung wins, we're having words. I'm shocked.
I know you are. Well, take us through it. You love Master's Call in the Mulligan. Why?
Because it basically as Hunter, I mean, it's slightly different in this matchup, but in general, the only thing you need is to draw, because your deck works together so well, and your minions work together so well. Master's Call draws you 3 different minions, which is very powerful. And also, it's just Hunter can go on forever as long as it keeps drawing the gas. And Master's Call is pretty much the only card in the deck that does that. The only reason Tracking's there is to often track into Zul'jin or Master's Call, and you like Zul'jin because it adds gas. And that's literally all you want. And if the draws weren't great, then blitzchung could have been punished for this, but I think with a full mulligan based on what he threw, it was reasonably likely he drew either early game minions or some level of gas.
Well, I think I have 2 points in response to that. First of all, it wasn't even a full mulligan. He kept to tracking, so it was very likely.
I must have blamed
that.
Yeah,
very likely that he found the cards that he needed early on. And also, I would argue that against Mage, any turn 3 that is not Animal Companion is miserable, to be honest. Like, it's not even close that I would rather play Master's Call over Animal Companion. It's just so much better to get that damage on the board as quick as possible.
That is true, and on coin, you can make it happen even quicker. Yeah, so I'm being fairly results oriented. Oriented.
Whichever one, is the one that Lorinda hates. Say that one.
I think I say the one he likes though, which scares me in many ways. But anyway, I think like I've just played games that maybe stick with me too much, where hands like this go dry even with Mark Shot, because you can discover a bad spell that doesn't do much.
Yeah.
And the second you go dry, and then Master's Call isn't in your next few draws, DawN just makes giants, and then
that's very fair.
You're dead.
Yeah.
Like that's what scares me the most. It probably scares me too much, right?
Yeah.
I probably lean towards Master's Call too much, which I admit to.
The thing is though that the more I see Grandmaster Hunter players play this matchup, the more I realize that there's a bunch of cards that you think are bad that are really good. The big instance that stands out to me was earlier when I was casting European Grandmasters. I'm sorry to bring up my greatest shame in life that I, at one point, did not cast Asia Pacific.
It's fine. I mean, you learnt. You learnt your lesson, you improved, and you came to the good regions.
I learned from my mistakes. But I remember Bunny Hopper kept Unleash the Hounds and Timberwolf in the starting hand against Mage, which seemed insane to me at the time. I was like, how do you ever not just look for the beef to throw down early on, get that damage rolling? But it worked out amazingly for him. And even though it was just a 1-game sample size, I think it brilliantly demonstrates that this is a weird matchup. And if you don't hit the perfect curve with Animal Companions and all that nonsense early on, you can suffer.
Oh, speaking of perfect curve, that'll do.
Yeah.
I think double Timberwolf feels good.
Double Timberwolf, Deadly Shot?
Yeah. you do the same. So I'm normally a fan of pressing hero power a lot,
Me too.
but I'm a fan of having minions on the board and hitting for
too.
3 this turn. And like, what does DawN actually do against that board? A Scalehide and 2 Timberwolves on turn 6? Like,
it's making his Rabble Bouncers, which we were talking about a lot, a fair bit cheaper.
It is. I guess you have Mark Shot though, and Rabble Bouncer would become what, 4?
Yeah,
Rabble Bouncer Ping.
Rabble Bouncer Ping's pretty good.
That is okay. Rabble Bouncer Ping's not bad.
And I think that's a pretty big part of the consideration for the blitzchung here.
I was just thinking how good is Mark Shot on against that turn overall better, if that makes sense.
Right.
So like, is Mark Shot the Rabble Bouncer after the ping and then trade? Is that actually, do you win that trade of events as Hunter? And blitzchung going for the hero power, I think the Rabble Bouncer might be a little bit more annoying. Pinging the Timberwolf when you float the mana is pretty good.
Like, because you also got to remember, DawN kept a card in the mulligan, which is the Ray of Frost on the left-hand side. blitzchung will definitely be trying to figure out what on earth, what do you keep on the play versus Hunter that has not come down by this point? The cards I'm thinking you'd keep would be stuff like Luna, Sorcerer's Apprentice, maybe Mana Cyclone, I think, or Arcane Intellect, and I think all of those cards would have been played by now. So I wonder if he's thinking...
Probably, yeah.
I wonder if he's thinking that's Rabble Bouncer, because it's a card you keep versus Hunter, and I would argue Rabble Bouncer is definitely something you would consider keeping versus Hunter.
I'm not going to fight you on this one. I think that's pretty fair. Now it gets really weird. Because I ain't going to say I told you so. But a Master's Call would be sweet. I was wondering whether, honestly, he was going to play Timberwolf and Mark Shot it.
I like the holding back of 1 Timberwolf, because I think that one of the main ways where this goes wrong is when from DawN we see something like Khadgar Conjurer's Calling Sea Giant, at which point, or basically the ways it goes wrong usually involve a wide board.
Well, what's interesting now as well is a wide board wouldn't be so bad if blitzchung went Timberwolf Unleash and there weren't tons of taunts.
Well, that's what I mean. By holding back the second Timberwolf,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It makes that much more amenable. But for DawN here, he can make an absurdly powerful turn. This is redonkulous.
But the thing here is... okay, so he's going to Ray of Frost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he kills this, he gets 2, 2, 2, 2, 4.
I mean, he just needs to be he needs to not overdraw at this point.
These spells are going to be important, though. Because Timberwolf Unleash Hero Power still pushes 6, 8 with the weapon.
Unless we see Banana on a minion. On a taunt, sorry, which I would definitely like to see. Alright, what's in the box? This is like 6 or 7 spells at this point. Wow. I think that's a misplay.
Oh, Frostbolt's nice. Okay, that helps.
Very nice.
But this next... Oh. So what's this? Oh, we just... Okay, alright, blitzchung. If you're just going to rip it, then fine. But...
What are we looking at on this turn?
Wait.
6 damage face, 8 with the hero power.
2, 4, 6. He can push... Oh, I guess it's the same. I wonder if he Mark Shot one and then just coin out the Timberwolf.
Very possible, actually.
You skip a hero power, but you're not skipping a hero power to lose something. You gain a dog, and the damage is the same, right?
Yes.
So
it's
actually
you're losing the coin, really, is what you're losing.
Which, okay, you've got nothing anyway.
He has the Master's Call. I wouldn't say the coin is useless.
But what is he coining into? He needs to win in the next couple of turns, right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
But Mark Shot could also get him a deadly shot, or so, something that, or even a Hunter's Mark, which
were you thinking Mark Shot on a taunt or a Mark Shot on the Apprentice?
I think Mark Shot taunt. Whoa. Oh, he's going to coin Mark Shot. Okay.
Or is he going to trade? Like, we could see Timberwolf trade in some of the minions.
Oh, no way.
Oh, this is such a tough choice.
No, you kill command.
Okay.
Coin Mark Shot on this because you don't trade, yeah, because you want the wide board next turn.
Okay.
For Timberwolf Unleash kill command. Might not do all of those things, but you want DawN to go wide right now.
Yes, you do.
And DawN now,
the devil.
You made a lot of cards, but most of them suck.
These do suck, yes.
First is nothing. Although, splitting image is like...
Yeah, splitting image summons another taunt.
Oh, not anymore, it doesn't.
Yes.
No.
Why are you the way that you are?
Keeps it spicy, doesn't it? Now is So that was Spellbender and Splitting Image.
That was.
It will go off when he attacks the second one, though.
How much damage are we even looking at here? Oh my god, there's too much happening.
I'm actually
I'm kind of surprised to
Surprised
see
he
a snap
Master's
Master's
Call.
Call. Yeah, I have to be honest. I was thinking like second Timberwolf. No, he's already played it.
There's 4 spells that you don't know what they are in hand.
Oh, well, oh wait, no, sorry, it was Counterspell, right? He wanted that to be dispelled.
That
so
makes
he
more
could
sense.
play Unleash.
Yep,
Yes,
yep,
no, that was just good.
We're done. Blitzchung, I take it all back. I should have doubted you.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, the Splitting Image coming in huge on this turn.
It's a whole 2 extra health, which might sound like I'm being sarcastic, but I'm not. It's
Not that bad.
that's a lot of health.
Honestly, not that bad. It's quite a lot worse than Ice Barrier. However, whatever. Shush. I say to you.
Face, face, face.
Oh, he can die so quick. Like, if he
Okay,
goes
this is
face
fine.
there and he's met with Frost Nova, he can kind of just give up on the spell. Whereas now, Tundra Rhino, Scavenging Hyena, the damage is insane.
So,
Assuming his board isn't instantly
it's
cleared, which it
Cinderstorm.
will be. Yes. Oh, is he going to go Snap Freeze Icicle first to draw a card?
I think you always want to do this,
Yeah,
right? Because you really might need to ping. Okay. So I wonder if you... Yeah, you play Cyclone, right? Over ping.
Yeah.
I like it. Oh, got a Nova?
Bang. Oh, Ice Barrier is huge.
Jared called it.
So the card is Spellbender. Blitzchung knows it's not Counterspell. He actually doesn't... Oh no, wait, he does know that it's not Mirror Entity because he played the Springport at the end. There was board space issues with Timberwolf, but yes, now he knows it's not Mirror Entity either.
Also, sick positioning for the Spellbender. Because if he tries to shoot the Giant, it hits the Spellbender and the 2 damage hits the 2/2, right?
Is that better?
Spellbender, well, the Giant stays on full health. Isn't that good?
Probably.
I mean,
Yeah, I guess so.
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. I was wondering if it's because you might want the 2/2 to survive, but I agree. The Giant's way more important. And it's getting tough here for Blitzchung. The pick of the kill command is just not looking like it's going to get the job done. Especially as I think he's narrowed it down to pretty much exactly Spellbender. What could the other secret have been? He attacked face, so he knew it wasn't Vaporize or Ice Barrier.
He played a minion, right? So it's not Entity.
Yes, he tested every other secret.
But I guess he's done this anyway, right?
Why waste 3 mana then? Though, right?
Because he probably felt he needed to proc it at some point. The thing is, though, if he knew it was Spellbender doesn't go off if you aim it at face.
Right.
So
That's what I mean. Like he could have just not played into it the entire game. Maybe I'm just forgetting the secret, and he was going for a 50-50.
Flame Strike, face, Ice Barrier.
Sure.
Seems
Freeze,
good to
Ice
me.
Barrier, like whatever, man. I think you're just very, very favored, no matter what you do here. Probably want to fit in a ping, because I think you want to get to the point where you can ping 3 times for lethal, even if the Giant is cleared.
I'm just thinking if you freeze and then the hyena grows, and then I guess
Well,
you can
fair
freeze
point.
again, or you can you
Well,
could just snap freeze.
snap freeze it, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Like
I
think ping is relatively important,
yeah, I automatically revert to just hyena kill.
which is a good survival instinct. I think that's more primal than Hearthstone. That's like fear of actual hyenas coming into play there.
Hyenas are very strange animals, aren't they? Have you ever? So I watched a lot of like wildlife documentaries, and hyenas are just weird. Didn't have the most. What are you laughing at? I'm trying to
The
have
way
a
you said
serious.
that was so funny.
I'm trying to have a serious conversation about hyenas. Here.
Oh,
If you don't wanna
hyenas
talk
are
to me about
very strange animals, aren't they, lad?
when did that?
Dunno.
What was that? Scottish?
Yeah, it's just kind of general
I think you should
north
have
of
put like
London.
you needed wee in there, wee laddie.
Wee lad. I wasn't even Scottish. I think I was just going for Yorkshire.
Not-
Yorkshire.
Not Brighton.
Not Brighton, yeah. I've never ventured outside myself.
Oh, outside yourself. I was worried about grammar for a second, and that's so confusing.
Yes.
Thought we were going to do some like metaphysical conversation there. It's like, I've never really left myself.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, sorry, let me get my glasses and my long couch, and you can have a lie down.
I've been to Taiwan, and yet I've never been to me.
Scary place.
However, even with the Giant being cleared off, it feels like blitzchung has a pretty big upward struggle to be able to get there in this game.
There goes the strike that is flamey. Slight misplay from DawN though, should have pinged first. Blitz is laughing, DawN's face palming.
Oh,
Someone
DawN.
turn that into some kind of GIF and send it to me because I will use it. Yeah, that's it, DawN. You won't do that again soon.
That was bad.
Yep. And the ping,
That,
like,
might actually just that might matter a lot.
How does he kill the
Blitzchung's
Rhino?
not out
How
of
does he
this
kill the
game.
Rhino?
Oh,
He can push at least 7
he
next
can't
turn.
freeze.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The barrier is huge here, actually. For the barrier might have saved DawN from this mess. This is where, when you don't play certain cards, sometimes you get thrown off. Oh, that doesn't really help.
Ping face. Ping face. Just he wins over 3 turns. He just pings face
Yeah.
and he gets there.
Depending on what blitzchung draws, like this could be huge. Wait, does he have a second scale hide? He has 2.
And he's played 1
Yeah.
so far.
So he,
right?
So he has 1 in the deck.
This is so close,
Scale
dude.
hide versus ping. If he draws it though, because the problem is blitz. Oh, explosive shot's good though. Is he gonna play around explosive shot?
Explosive shots, insane.
Play around it. What a god. I was gonna give him the spell now. Revenge of the Wild. I don't really know what that does. Nothing.
It doesn't. It does not. Do
Oh
anything
yeah,
right
it
now,
does
no.
do something. If he
does it
draws
do?
scale hide, he can trade it
Oh,
twice.
If he draws something off the top.
Okay, well I mean, let's get shimmery.
He's just. Oh wait, Shimmerfly, Revenge of the Wild, then Explosive Shot. He clears the board. Okay. The Explosive Shot keeps him alive.
Whoa.
Still Explosive Shot, I think. Oh, he doesn't even need Revenge of the Wild. Yeah, he just clears it off because of the charge. Yeah.
Wait, can he not?
He's doing it anyway, I think, just for an extra spell.
I mean, yeah. DawN has give blitzchung a chance. It's a small one. That's just a lot of damage. Holy moly!
Good divert there from
Just-
the holy you were going to go for.
Does DawN have direct damage that's greater than the ping? What was it?
Frost.
That's a big deal too.
Oh my god.
So there's
How much
10. So
damage
there's
is
4
this?
mana, 10, 12. He has to Nova.
Wait, so 10, 14. So 4 more damage would be
Another
necessary.
kill command
Another kill command would be lethal.
would just about get him there, right? 15. Oh no, he's one off with 1 kill command. Unleash does a whole lot of nothing. Oh wow.
That was so close!
Kill command your own face, blitzchung the honourable way. He's going to, isn't he? I knew it.
An honourable hunter
True
player, to
hunter
be
players.
sure.
We know each other. We know the players.
Yeah, he goes into it saying, someone's getting kill commanded this game. I'm not sure who, but someone.
Yeah, look at DawN slap himself. Just shake it off. That's right. Get the. Just forget. What? Honestly, without even joking, DawN needs to just wipe that game from his memory.
Yeah, that never happened.
Just forget about it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's gone. What does being bothered about it matter? It just doesn't anymore. He did win. If he'd lost, people would talk. But it doesn't matter now. He's won, and we're going to be moving on to game number 3. But if that doesn't wake you up, that's like 20 coffees in about 3 seconds making a misplay like that. It is though, right? Like, if that
Yes.
doesn't snap you out of maybe you just sat there playing, you start to relax and not notice, and then that happens, you're like, whoops. I just looked silly in front of a few thousand people. My bad.
Can't imagine that.
I know it all too well. But we are going into game number 3. Yeah, blitzchung, I think, probably just stays on the same deck. I don't see a great selling point for anything else, especially like Snake Trap isn't going to do much in his tertiary. But DawN, I imagine, going to stick as well, so it's probably just going to be a regame. But I will say, like, blitzchung got close in a weird way that game, but he ended up with like 2 mark shots in his hand. Yes, he killed the giant, but if those were minions, maybe the Giant can't be played because DawN has to defend early. So blitzchung, I think, got one incredible opening hand, game 1. Got a rough opening hand, game 2.
It was recent.
Yeah, just okay. So maybe we'll see something come out game number 3, and this is going to be the decider and going to be a big deal. Both these players still just want to get these wins in because it relieves, or at least helps with some of the pressure for the rest of the weekend as well.
Yes, I need to do, I saved most of my Division B tiebreaker work for tomorrow. I think that blitzchung is still in with contention to get through. There's only,
I believe so.
Before we get into all the matches, I believe the only 2 players 100% eliminated were Samuel and Patrick down at the bottom of the field. I haven't quite looked at blitzchung's tiebreakers yet before we get into that tomorrow, but I think if he wins both his next matches, he has a chance at the very least, because the disparity between the top and the bottom in Division B gives a bit more breathing room to the players in the middle, because with Shaxi doing so well, guaranteed first place at 10 wins, and Patra right down at the bottom, it does mean that there's a little bit more wiggle room in the middle for third place.
Yeah, it's less, the crazy branching paths. It's like, what show is it? With the board and all the lines coming off. What's the show? The guy in the suit? I can't remember. It's the meme. You should know this. It's a meme.
The board. With
it's
the
like
guy
a like a
lines.
pin board where you line. It's like a.
Oh, it's Charlie and It's Always Sunny where he's like.
I've not seen it. Sal's told me to watch it, but I've not seen it. Yeah. But yeah, it's the Division A is kind of like that, right? Whereas Division
like
B is a little bit more simple.
I thought you were talking about a game show. I was like, Wheel of Fortune. Like, what are you talking about here?
Were you even alive when Wheel of Fortune was on?
Was I?
It's a fairly old show, isn't it? Unless there's been new ones I've not
seen it on like probably reruns.
Okay, well let's go into game number 3, last game of the day, and this one is going to decide a lot. And we've talked a lot about if this player does this, maybe this does that. But as each day goes on this weekend, we will have much clearer reviews of who needs to do what to get where. So don't worry, we will improve, I promise. Oh, the Master's Call.
Yeah, blitzchung here with a very spicy looking hand. Unless we see a proactive play on this turn from DawN, blitzchung pretty much has the 100% go-ahead to just go Companion into Dire Frenzy, pray that he gets Huffer for the absolute dream of charging 7/5/3 manas.
Even, I think I've said this a lot, but even Misha's just not even bad. Because
nuts.
it's still 7 health. Like Mage cannot just deal 7 damage. They just don't have the capability in this deck.
I love this from DawN. I think his hand had the temptation to just ping there, go for Arcane Intellect, hope to draw Conjurer's Calling, go for a giant Khadgar Conjurer's turn. I think very often that just dies, and he doesn't even have the Conjurer's Calling, so it's risky at that. This play sets him up for minion this turn, snip snap next turn. If he doesn't need to snip snap, he could AI next turn. This has possibilities, and it just means that the proactive pressure plan from blitzchung is significantly hampered.
The only other play
he has to kill command this turn.
Yeah, the only other play I was considering was coin snip snap to give the rest of you a lot of freedom in the rest of your turns. But coin snip snap does not kill Amisha, so
true.
You can do it.
Yeah, coin snip snap was tempting.
It was okay.
Definitely.
Because it buys you a lot of time to then go intellect into Sorcerer's X, and so on and so on.
Even purely because it allows you to go Khadgar Trade, which summons 4 1/1s, which
probably
not good. It's probably not good, but it's
something to stuff, right? But it doesn't kill a Misha and a Leok, which scares me the most. As you said, the animal comp onto Dire Frenzy is a nightmare.
This is starting to look very juicy for DawN. Khadgar Conjurer's next turn on a snip snap is insane. I mean, there's just too much board space at that point, I think, right? Or too much stuff for board space. Especially if these mirror images don't die. But even ignoring the Khadgar,
Flat
if he just
Conjure,
goes, just straight up Conjurer's Calling.
Well, if this Apprentice lives, just Intellect Conjures is fantastic, because what you need to do in a matchup like this is, I agree, the early giant play, you die most of the time, right? But you can once you do an opening like this, you can tiptoe towards giant, and maybe your opponent doesn't really notice, because you just, intellect, my hand's getting a bit big. Giant Conjurers, I win, because it's very difficult at that point, that late in the game, if you stay on top of the board like DawN is doing right now.
I also just want to say again, I love the way that DawN is playing this. I was practicing this matchup with Admirable last night, I was on the side of the hunter versus the mage, and to be honest, like for the most part, he was getting wrecked. Like the early pressure from the hunter early on, the dire frenzies, animal companions, it was way too much pressure. The games that Admirable won is where he just played out his minions. He just threw stuff on the board. Even though it's nowhere near as powerful overall as Giant Conjurers, it just messes with what the hunter wants to do so drastically.
And that's it, right? Look at all the games, or look at all the GM games, at least in APAC, that Hunter's been playing against Mage, right?
Yeah.
Whenever they've just steamrolled, it's because Mage did nothing early game. But if they do stuff like, look, the Hunter minions aren't that good. They're just good because they all combine. But if you just play stuff that can fight them, it normally stays relatively even.
How does DawN do this? I've got to be honest, I'm not actually even sure how the
anyone would do this.
Well, no, because if you go Khadgar Conjurers, do the Snip Snap minion, do the Microbots summon first, or the 3
I want to say
minion?
the Microbots summon
I want to say that
first.
too, because it destroys it, right? Then it summons.
But that would also be applying logic to things, which is a scary thing in itself. So DawN might not know and doesn't want to try it. Oh, okay.
I mean, his board is a lot weaker than it would have been if he'd gone for Conjurers on the 3 drops.
Oh.
Wow. And blitzchung can make one heck of a swing back here.
Okay. The only problem... Oh, wait. This is weird. This is weird. Because he's played 1 Conjurers, it means that DawN may well have to Conjures the Hyena.
Yes,
but
and
that means
blitzchung
he has
knows that.
no Conjures calling.
Exactly.
Oh. I'm just making noises now.
Welcome to casting in 2019. It's like 2001: A Space Odyssey in reverse.
So yeah. So what do you do, Alex? Oh yeah, I'm a Hearthstone caster. You know, I do like the top league in the game. All right, Justin, this is a clip. Yeah. Oh, they're like, what? He gets paid for this?
He's supposed to be.
There's Conjuring. Not bad.
Dozing Marksman is just everywhere, dude. Like, it pops up all the time.
Just turn a corner and it's just snoozing. What's going on? What are you doing?
Slenderman 2, Dozing Marksman.
Do you say Slender Man?
Yeah.
Or Surrender Man? 'Cause I feel like that's the spin-off series from the Surrender films. Should make it a series now. But that's also just none of the actual actors from the film.
Yes. Jeff Goldblum as Surrender, as Slenderman. Sorry, yeah, that's a meme for days. blitzchung, however, despite DawN's ridiculously powerful starting hand, has managed to wrestle his way back onto the board. And I have to be honest, I wonder if for DawN, this was the most proactive play, or the most aggressively powerful play he could have made, right? Because by going for Conjurer's Calling on the 2-drop, 2-drops are a lot worse than 3-drops overall, I think. Like, there's some really bad 2-drops to get off Conjurer's Calling. And I think, like you said, even if we just seen Intellect Conjurer's Calling without the Khadgar, I think that was perfectly reasonable because it sets up not only for a very powerful turn on the turn you play it, but for going Mountain Giant Khadgar Conjurer's Calling later on.
Hunter can't beat that.
Hunter cannot beat that.
No,
yes,
it can't beat that. That's just,
if you get
it just
taunts.
doesn't happen.
If you get taunts, it cannot beat that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Hunter can't beat the minions. Right?
Yes.
Like,
it can still kill you with
obviously,
a
that's what I mean. Obviously, it can kill you, but the minions they cannot clear the board, right?
You have one board forever if you do that. Yes.
Yeah. And I just I think because there was a chance to sneak out the Mountain Giant combo, I think DawN should have done it. I mean, it's easy for us to say with those outcomes as well, but I think DawN should have done it because that's the bit where you cheated the game and then end up just beating Hunter out of nowhere. But now blitzchung is, like you said, chipping away, and this is just a problem.
He's got
I
some
do like the Sea
reasonable
Giant,
plays,
though.
Yeah.
Just get something down while you can.
Not getting the overkill does sting a little bit, but I always feel with whenever I play with an overkill card, I go way too all in on guaranteeing that I get the overkill when it's not that
it just gained you 4 armor. Because you traded.
Yes, I guess so. Technically.
Remember,
technically it didn't, but I suppose
technically correct.
I mean, you're technically incorrect.
Okay.
But you are basically correct.
trying to link my point with your point, you know.
I appreciate the effort.
I try. That's all I can really do. I do like the Sea Giant play though. Like DawN has to do something, but
oh, blitzchung can do so much stuff. Like this is just so much stuff that's
And
hitting the board now.
blitzchung had Master's Call early-ish this game, and things have worked out pretty well. Yeah, thinking phase. I mean, now I don't really know what DawN does, because yeah, say he went Nova into Nova. What else does he actually have to draw to not only not survive longer, but to actually win the game? Blitzchung's not even below 30.
Okay, that's a card. That does something here.
Zul'jin does a whole lot of something too.
Oh man, Zul'jin does a lot of something.
Double
Kind of his
Masters called
specialty.
Double Dire Frenzy, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is it Double Dire Frenzy or has he played one?
Maybe it was one. I think it's just one. I
think I'm merging the games.
Yeah. Oh man, but DawN without even the ability to kill off the
If he
the
kills the
hyena
scale,
feels
how
so
he
bad.
buffs that?
Yeah. He's just got to go for it though, I think.
Oh, I mean, he doesn't have a choice.
I mean, he did have a choice. We could have seen Arcane Intellect into hopefully top deck Frost Nova, but I don't think that would have got there. And blitzchung is not stopping doing stuff.
The marksman can buff himself. What a god!
As even in his sleep, through hearing
Wait, is this sleeper? Probably not with a hero, right? It's marksman. He goes up to. He'll go up to 17, and then kill command is 22. Oh, it's close.
Very close,
it's close
to
to
lethal.
yeah.
Darksman, the marksman coming in huge here.
It's actually pretty close. Look at the damage.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude.
Well, the Leok coming in huge, I think, was more.
Yes.
The few times you're happy to see the Leok.
There is literally nothing that DawN can get here to save him.
That's
Kill command will close out the game. blitzchung going up to 6 and 7. I believe keeping his hopes of playoffs alive, even though with him winning 2 games, he would still need a lot of stuff to go his way because he needs no other players to get up to 8 wins. Because with Shaxi at 10, DawN at 8, if any of the other players get up to 8 wins, which I believe Tyler and you'll have to give me someone else also has a chance at 6 wins to go up to the 8 wins. It's possible for blitzchung, I believe, but very slow.
Yeah, I think though what's important to remember is when you're in these kind of positions, in this kind of where you have to do this, they have to do that.
Yes.
It doesn't really matter what anyone else has to do. All you can actually do is win your matches. And once you've done that, it either works out or it doesn't. But if you win your matches, you did everything you could, and everything else is just down to the fates. So you've got to see what happens. But regardless of that, I think that was a pretty good series. blitzchung just showing how... I do want to ask him when we hopefully get an interview with him shortly. But I just want to just say blitzchung plays so solid on Hunter. It must be so difficult to not bring a deck you were that comfortable with, and because you shouldn't bring it every week, and blitzchung even said himself it became predictable and it lost him some matchups because his opponents just knew he was going to play Hunter, or at least aggro. But it must be so difficult to not submit a deck you think is powerful and you're really good with.
Yeah.
That to me is the hard bit of GM.
I think a lot of players have struggled with that as well. Obviously, Hunter is playing a lot of mage in his early weeks to, I think, reasonable success. He went 1-1, I think, in the first 4 weeks of Grandmasters, and then pivoting off of that, going into Warrior in week 5, and then I can't actually remember week 6, but something a little bit different.
It's all just a blur of wins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's in first place now, heading into this week of European Grandmasters, but he is a mage god. I think it's fair to say he figured out the deck very, very effectively indeed. But switching off of that, it does make you significantly less predictable, which we've seen work in favor of blitzchung. I would say even switching back onto the Hunter is not predictable, right? Because he's so well known for it and then switches off of it, players are thinking, oh, he's gone off of that, right? He's going for some other game plan. And then he goes, psych, I'm going back to the Hunter and I'm going to kill you.
You never saw it coming. So I believe we're not having an interview with blitzchung, so we are going to check out the results instead, and I will message him and ask him and tell you tomorrow what he said. But let's check out what happened today. I mean, Chunsu taking a win over Frosty. We believe me and Frosty is not going to make it into top 3. Staz taking a win over Flurry was a big deal because I feel like Staz is the brawler in the middle that can make everything happen, which considering Staz had not the best opening to GM whatsoever, and now he's one of the important characters matters in this end week. It's going to be pretty big. Surrender took a win over Tom, cementing his spot in the top 3, and then Alutimo again beat Rivius, also just dominating Division A. blitzchung taking the win we just saw over DawN. But let's check out the standings and see what has occurred. Alutimo at the top, Surrender at the top, Staz moonwalking into the top 3 there is pretty nice. But bear in mind, you know, there are still other matches to be played that will affect this. But for now, you start to see where it's at. Tom just cannot catch up enough. He has one more match to play, and he's on 5 wins. That's not enough. But Flurry, Frosty, Rivius, all still in with a chance.
Yes.
Because Staz, if Staz wins his next one, you can see that no one else can catch up, as you quite rightly said. So Staz must feel the pressure in his next match, but at least it's in your control to a certain extent.
Exactly, because the next match for Staz is against Rivius. So if Rivius wins, he goes up to 7-7, as does Staz. I will have to do the tiebreakers, because I believe it's tiebreaker 2 that will come down to, rather than tiebreaker 1, which is the strength of the opponents they've defeated. Basically, we'll do the maths tonight and figure out what the odds are for when they play on Sunday, I believe. But Staz versus Rivius is the main thing we need to focus on, because if Staz wins, Flurry, Frosty, and Rivius, or Flurry and Rivius, I should say, sorry, have no chance.
Yeah, so that's it for a ton of Group A today, and that's going to shake out more over the weekend. Group B, Shaxi still looking good, but that'll flesh out a lot more tomorrow, as we have a lot of Group B matches coming up, which is only natural. So that's going to be us for day number 1. Thanks a lot for watching. We were a bit of a mess earlier, but that's Derek's fault. Don't blame me.
It's all your fault.
Yep. But now, if you want to hang out and check out some more Hearthstone that's coming up shortly, go and say hello to Admirable and Sol, who's going to be bringing you the European Grandmasters, and then later on there'll be Froden and TJ bringing you Americas. But for now, we will see you tomorrow. Good night.